cool. It's just perfect. So why don't you get out, get in your car, come on down. There's lots of folks here. Probably see somebody you know, and you can get something to eat and take in the Open to the World Horse Show. This evening's show is a big event, and of course always the crowning glory of the Putnam County Fair is this is the final night. So we hope that you'll tune in and or come on down. Stay with us. We'll promise to bring you lots of good programming this evening. We have a lot of categories tonight, 19 classes, and if we're lucky, we'll get them all in this evening. But we don't know right at the moment how many we'll get through, but we're going to stay with it throughout the entire evening and hope that you enjoy it. I'm Becky Magura, and joining me in just a little bit will be Debbie Norris and Richard Castle. So stay with us, and we'll be bringing you the Putnam County Fair and the Open to the World Horse Show. You see the midway there, folks on the Ferris wheel, and the judge and the ringmaster. The judge for this evening is Billy Renfro, and he is from Union Springs, Alabama, and a horse trainer in Shelbyville. He is not a horse trainer in Shelbyville. Oh, I see. Okay, Billy Renfro is from Alabama, and he is a horse trainer there, but he's here because he's going to the Shelbyville Horse Show. He's judged at Shelbyville. At any rate, Billy Renfro is your judge. Also, Master of Ceremonies this evening is Drew Huffines. And we're beginning our first class here. Just a moment ago, we had the flag horse and the national anthem, which obviously we didn't get, they started that before our 7 o'clock broadcast, but the horse was just beautiful. And the horse's name was the True Masterpiece, ridden by Ralph Chaffin, who is the trainer, and owned by Kathy Wallace of Cookeville. And if you didn't get to see that tonight, then you'll want to tune in as we repeat highlights of the Putnam County Fair this winter. It'll be a regular series. This is our first class. This class is lead line. I guess that means that all the entries are being led. And you see all different ages there. In this class is number 45, Golden Boy, is the horse's name, ridden by Justin Blaylock. Number 83 is Motion of Ebony, ridden by Danielle Nicole Lindsay. Number 292 is Thunder's Rebel, ridden by Matthew Hancock. Number 406 is My Skippadoo, ridden by Justin Brown. There you see Julie Vaughn leading the way. She's the owner of that horse. Number 113 is Abigail, ridden by Sally Givens. Number 42 is the horse's John's Gun, ridden by Joshua Brown. Number 142 is Morning Star, ridden by Gina McCormick. Gina McCormick. Number 107 is Proud Popper, ridden by Jeannie Bassell. Number 199 is Colors Blackjack, ridden by Tricia Braun of Sparta. Number 146 is Bar Roxy Girl, ridden by Allison Payne. Number 404 is Frisky Samantha, ridden by Joshua Scott of Baxter. Number 143, as we mentioned before, is Skips Coco, ridden by Brandon Phipps of Livingston. And you see there number 83, which is Motion of Ebony, ridden by Danielle Nicole Lindsay of Cookeville. She's so little and so cute.
Keep them working.
Number 406, as we mentioned before, is My Skippadoo, ridden by Justin Brown. Number 207 is Pride's Fair Chance, ridden by Katie Stevens. And number 180 is Queenie, ridden by Stephen Eldridge of Cookeville. And this is the lead line category. Beautiful horses and some very young riders. This gives the opportunity for some really young riders to get into the act since they are being led. So we're going to let you take a look at them and listen to the music of Wayne Neighbors, as he can certainly play that organ. John's Gun, ridden by Joshua Brown. That horse is owned by Elizabeth Brown of Cookeville.
The exhibitors, if beyond the Yolanda Blaylock of Cookeville and Kathy Gibson of Cookeville. 292 is Thunder Rebel.
There you see number 143. That's Skipped Coco, ridden by Brandon Phillips, owned by Brandon Phipps, owned by Debbie Phipps of Livingston.
Is the rider. Kathy Gibson of Cookeville is the owner. Number 42, John's Gun. That's Joshua Brown, the rider. Elizabeth Brown of Cookeville, the exhibitor.
292, Thunder's Rebel, ridden by Matthew Hancock of Jamestown, owned by Donnie Hancock.
Jeannie Bassell is the rider. 199, Colors Blackjack. Colors Blackjack is 199. That's Tricia V. 146, Bar Roxy Girl, Allison Payne riding. 404, Frisky Samantha, Joshua Smith.
107, that must be Proud Popper, ridden by Jeannie Bassell and owned by Tracy Bassell.
My Shipadoo. Number 207, Prize Fair 10. That's Katie Stevens up, and 180 is Sweeney with Stephen Eldridge, the rider. 13 entries in the lead line class. Exhibitors, if you will, bring them in on the track now. Let's line them up.
113, Abigail, ridden by Sally Givens.
Lining up facing the grandstand.
Sally's of Crossville. Debbie Norris has joined us, and we certainly appreciate you popping in here with us.
Always enjoy watching the Putnam County Horse Show.
That's right. It's going to be a good night, too.
Beautiful night. We've got a lot of horses here to see and a lot of pretty kids.
This is the lead line, and I assume, since I don't know a great deal about this, that means they're being led around.
That's right. We've got a lot of little mamas and daddies out there with a lot of big kids.
That's right. That's right. Some beautiful horses and beautiful riders.
Absolutely. They sure do look nice. We've got a lot of them that have gone to a lot of trouble to look alike.
That's true. There's a great example right there. That rider and the leader are dressed just alike and looking sharp.
I'm sure the judge takes a lot of that in consideration on this particular class.
And the crowd has picked out a favorite. Or at least part of the crowd. There's a good crowd here this evening also. It's a great night, and of course this is the big event of the week.
The last night.
The last night. Everybody's got to get that last bag of cotton candy and ride the last ride and see the horse show.
I think everybody in Putnam County decided to come tonight. The traffic's all the way back down to the square.
I bet it is. Well, you know, I got here at 5:30, and it was back halfway back to that point.
At 6:30 it made it.
At 6:30 it had made it to the square.
I haven't had my cotton candy, my candied apple all week.
No.
So
well, you're gonna make up for it tonight,
absolutely.
Youth Western Pleasure Entries, you'll be getting ready. You're coming to the ring.
Well, I told them you were
Western
coming.
Pleasure Entries will be
I
next.
said, Debbie Norris, she's coming now, so you just hang in there. So you got held up in traffic, but we're glad you're here.
Held up in traffic and blowing balloons up.
Oh, were you? Well, you should bring us some of those up here. We'll have to.
We'll get some in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay. And our master of ceremonies this evening is Drew Huffines, and Drew will be announcing the winners in a few moments, so we'll make sure that you get to hear that. And we have our fairest of the fair to make the presentation this evening. Our judge tonight is Billy Renfro.
From Union Springs, Alabama.
Right. I messed this all up, but actually he's a horse trainer in Alabama, and he's been judging at Shelbyville. Or he has judged at Shelbyville.
Top quality people. I talked to Jimmy Robertson the other night, who happens to be one of the people on the horse show committee for the Putnam County Horse Show, and he told me that what they did this year to keep from having any biased people at all, They just called the Walking Horse Association and said, pick out the judge, pick out the farrier, pick out the steward, and send them on up. We don't really want to know who it is.
Well,
I think that
that's a
certainly
good idea.
is good. The judge appears to be having a little problem in deciding exactly who he wants to place first and in what order he wants the other places. It's a tough class to judge tonight.
It's a big class. So we read off all the names, but I believe he's going to give that information to Drew, and we'll turn to Drew for the winners, I suppose.
Attention now, if you will, exhibitors, please. I want the following entries, if you will, just to turn and pull right back in off the track on the inside.
Oh, we're going to... What
Number
are they going to
45,
do?
just turn
Going to have a
around
little
and pull back
workout in the lead line
track,
class.
if you will,
I thought he
please.
looked like he was
45.
having a hard time making a
207.
good decision.
Oh, so he's going to
180.
pull some in on the grass and
This
work
is
some.
real unusual for a lead line class.
146. That's 146. 146. Just pull right back in off the track, if you will, please. And number 406. 406, you'll pull in. Those entries pulled in. We'll ask the others to be excused, and we want you to give all of these other entries now a big round of applause. We excuse you and say thanks to you for your contribution to the class tonight.
And they've pulled in several, and they are excusing the rest.
As soon as the other entries now
You see
vacate the
some
ring,
of
we're
them
going to
going
ask
there.
those of you.
All of them
who
did a
will
great
please, you'll be
job,
going
though.
right up to the end of the ring, circling, coming back in on the track. If you will, please, in a small circle, so we'll get a chance at a final look at you.
So
Doing
evidently
your
he's
best
picked out
now,
his top
riders.
five, and now he's
Exhibitors
got to
and
decide
riders, you're being
which
judged
order he's
right
going to
here.
place
This
these
is
top
it.
five.
And I guess the crowd will decide which one they're going to choose.
Absolutely, he'll have to give them a lot of weight in their judgment.
That's a small rider.
That would probably have to be my number one choice. I've never seen a child that small on top of a horse.
The fact that he can stay
Hold
up there
on.
is pretty good.
Well, if you'll look, they've got him belted in.
They sure do.
That little girl certainly is cute.
She really is, and she's riding nice and straight. And I believe our top five, I believe you see there Justin Brown riding My Skip-a-Doo. That's owned by Julie Vaughn of Cookville, and I believe Julie's leading the way. There you see Julie. And as we mentioned the other night, she is the quarter horse queen for
For
Tennessee.
Tennessee, first one we've had in 16 years, and she'll be representing us at the Quarter Horse Congress.
And also in this category, Golden Boy, ridden by Justin Blaylock. And there you see Justin. The owner is Yolanda Blaylock of Cookville. And next is Pride Spare Choice, ridden by Katie Stevens, owned by Randall
Lining up now,
Pitcock
if you will,
of
please, exhibitors,
Cookville.
lining them up on the track.
And there you see Queenie, ridden by Stephen Eldridge, owned by Donald Preston of Cookville. And Bar Roxy Girl is ridden by Allison Payne and owned by Ken Bryant of Cookville. So those are our top five choices by the judge, and he will, I guess, from there select his, in what order they're going to go, right?
That's right. I believe that's Ken leading.
Bar Roxy Girl
Allison, yes. But Allison Payne
is the rider. Now, is that the one that's dressed just alike? Isn't it?
yes.
The blue shirt and the red bow tie. Oh, and there's now let me find that must be Katie Stevens riding Pride Spare
Youth Western
10.
Pleasure entries, be ready standing by, please. Youth Western Pleasure entries, you'll be getting the call in just a moment.
There you see Allison Payne on Bar Roxy Girl. And I believe we're getting ready for the winners, so we'll turn to Drew Huffines.
You know, Drew's been master of ceremonies for horse shows all across Middle Tennessee for a number of years. And the people that go on this walking horse circuit every weekend across the state look forward to seeing the same familiar faces as the NC, or like Wayne Neighbors as the organist, because it makes them feel a little more comfortable, a little more at home. So you'll notice some of the jokes that he tells are jokes that these people will relate to better than the crowd, actually.
And there's Wayne Neighbors.
Escort is Bubba Walker. Your first place award, if you will, you'll turn and ride right back in on the same side you parked for the presentation, and that blue ribbon and the trophy in this class goes to entry number 207, Pride's Fair 10. Katie Stevens is riding. Randall Pitcock is the exhibitor. Katie Stevens rides to the blue ribbon and the trophy. To entry number 406, My Skip-a-Doo. Justin Brown riding. Julie Vaughn is the exhibitor. My Skip-a-Doo. Exhibitor 406 is second. Third place award in the class. Third goes to entry number 180. That's Queenie. Stephen Eldridge is the rider. Donald Preston of Cookville, the exhibitor. Stephen Eldridge riding Queenie, 180 to third. Except, if you will, you'll exit on the opposite end of the ring to where you entered. Fourth award, fourth place in this class goes to number 45, Golden Boy. Justin Blaylock is the rider. Yolanda Blaylock of Cookville is the exhibitor. 45, that's Golden Boy with Justin Blaylock riding to fourth. And the fifth award in the class, fifth goes to 146, Bar Roxy Girl. Allison Payne is the rider. Ken Bryant of Cookville, the exhibitor. Allison Payne riding Bar Roxy Girl. 146 is fifth in the class. And that's the lead line competition for the evening, and everybody gets a big round of applause for a job well done by a group of youngsters. The handlers did a pretty good job also.
Okay. And Becky, that was in the first place prize fair choice with Katie Stevens up. And Randall Peacock was the leading that one. So that was a real good number one choice.
And Debbie, we have some special guests here while we're waiting for our second class to start, I suppose. And we've got, hey, there we go. We know these smiling faces. We have with us Kathy Wallace and Brenda Turnage, and you folks are from Cookville, and you're going to be riding tonight, right? Tell me, what class are you entered in, Kathy?
I'll be showing in Class 10, that's Amateur Specialty, and Class 17, Open Amateur.
And which one are you riding in, Brenda?
I'll be in Class 12, 15-2 and under. I have a little horse.
Well, that's great. That's okay. We'll be looking for you then tonight. Kathy, unfortunately, our broadcast started before or after the flag horse, although we did tape it, so we'll be seeing it during our rebroadcast. But that was a beautiful horse, and that was your horse, right?
Yes, he is. He's the one I'll be showing in Open Amateur.
Oh, you'll be showing him tonight then. Okay, well, great. Debbie, do you have some questions you want to ask Jesus?
These girls are both new, relatively new to this horse show circuit. How long have you been showing?
I've been showing two years.
Great.
This is 2 years. It took me a lot of years to get to this 2 years.
But it's certainly a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I think it's great.
How about you, Kathy? You've been showing
About the same length of time.
Really?
I started out on a pleasure horse, a flat shot horse, but about 2 years, I guess.
But now, what made you decide to get into it then? I know you've watched it a long time.
It's just something I've always wanted to do. We've always had pleasure horses around, and I've just always wanted to do it. It just took me a while.
How about you, Brenda?
That's the same. I used to watch Debbie when she was little. And I've always wanted to. I've always rode horses, loved them, but it takes a lot of nerve to get out there in that ring.
I'm sure it takes a lot lot of discipline. You have to work at it all the time.
We work at it a lot. Wctetv, our trainer, he works with us a lot, almost as much as he does the horses.
How often do you have to ride to prepare for a show a week, say?
Well, every chance we get, but I'll go down at least 2 or 3 times a week to ride.
It takes at least that much, doesn't it?
Yeah, Ralph gets the horses ready for us, and then he rides them every day. And then I ride about 3 times a week, but I really need to ride about 6 times a week.
Kathy, how about you?
Every chance I get, about 3 or 4 days a week, I'll ride.
It's most of the times it's just as important for the rider to ride it as often as possible as it is for that horse to be.
Well, the horse has to get used to you. You need to get used to the horse, and it's not like people think you can go get on a horse and they're supposed to do all these big things. It does not work that
The
way.
easier you make it work, the harder you put into it.
Right. Well, how often did you used to ride when you showed?
Well, it was supposed to be every day, but it didn't work out that way.
You were better than us.
No, not at all. I have one more question. I know because you guys have to, said you were in a hurry to go get ready, and I know it takes a lot of preparation in the back to get up here to the front. What advice would you give someone who maybe has always thought and wanted to do this, but really hasn't? And since you're new into it and you did, watch for a while, do you have any advice you give to somebody?
Go ahead and try.
Go for it. If you want to do it, and if you've got the love for it, just get out there and make yourself do it. I have been wanting to do this for a long time, and I've missed all of these years by not just going for it. So do it.
Okay, you heard it. Do it. Go get a horse and work at it, right?
Right.
Okay, well, we wish you guys a lot of luck, and we'll be looking for you out here. Okay, we're going to take you now to the second class that we're into. And, Debbie, what would that be? Well, let's see. Let's get the
Our
book.
second class tonight is the Youth Western Pleasure. And we have quite a few entries in this class tonight.
Okay. This is the Youth Western Pleasure class, and
12 entries showing the Youth Western Pleasure class, and your entry number 141 is Miss Bars. Jane Sullivan is riding this entry. 155 Diamond Desperado.
Okay.
Shores is in the saddle tonight.
this is class number 2. We're going to let you know some of the folks who are in here.
Riding Proud Copper. Number 13.
And
Foxy Girl. That's Molly Bryan in the irons.
yeah, go ahead and tell us who's in this class.
Okay, we have entry number 141 is Ms. Bars with Shane Sullivan up, the owner being Shane Sullivan. We have number 155 with Diamond Desperado with Amy Shores up. We have 119 Proud Popper with Tracy Bestell, the owner and the rider. Number 13 is Bar Roxy Girl with Molly Bryant, and Ken Bryant's the owner. Number 44 is My Skipper Do with Cindy Rose up, and Preston Vaughn, Quarter Horse, is the owner. Number 150 is My Fula with Ken Hightower of Sparta up. Number 14 is Plenty of Jewelry. Leanne Allen is up. 147 is Shiloh Venna with Sylvia Mathis up. And the owner is Catherine Fan of Baxter. 409 is Brandy with Jeremy Riddle from Cookville. 117 is Leo Showboy with Sharon Franklin. Number 50 is Spanish Idol with Morning Rita up, and Morning Rita is the owner and the rider.
You did very well. This is kind of hard to read because it's been written very quickly.
Especially without glasses.
No, Debbie, you weren't supposed to tell that part. And this is the Youth Western Pleasure, as we've mentioned before. And we've got some folks with us who will be talking to as the judging is going on, because there are some special entries in this class. Some folks who have placed very high in the 4-H competition on a district, state level. And we've got some folks here to tell us about them. Elizabeth Shores is with us. And Elizabeth, tell us who's in this particular competition that would be on this, would be categorized in this state level. Okay, hold on, just, do we have the mic up? Let me make sure. Okay, go ahead.
And Tracy Bissell.
Who was the first one?
Shannon Franklin is showing Showboy. Tracy Bissell is showing Proud Popper, and Amy Shores is showing Diamond Desperado. And they all competed within the quarter horse class at the state 4-H show and done very, very well. Now, Wes sitting here by me showed the walking horse class and placed well. Would you like to know what they won?
Yes, tell us what they won. This is Wes Robertson, and you'll all get a chance to see him in just a moment. But, yeah, tell us what they won.
Okay, Amy won junior gilding of the state. She got also 4th in growing and training and 9th seed in stock seed equitation. She was a high point 4th grader in the state of Tennessee this year. Now, Shannon Franklin on Showboy won 4th in trail. And she also won 9th in horsemanship and 7th in reining. And she placed in English also. And we're all very proud of our quarter horse kids here from the county. We have got a very good 4-H horse project club that anybody interested in horses, we'd be more than happy to have them to contact us.
Sure, well that's a terrific, this is the Youth Western Pleasure, and as Elizabeth Shores was mentioning to us, we have 4 different young people who have placed at a state level, Debbie, on
That's incredible.
horse showing. And we'll try and of course, we want to make sure you see all of our entries here, as we mentioned before. We'll make sure that maybe we can get a shot of these folks. That's Tracy Bissell, and she is one of the state winners. And there's Amy Shores. She's one of our other 4-H state winners.
These kids have really had to work hard to get to this point.
They have done extremely well this year. We're proud of them. Way over there. 5 points and also that we were looking for.
Yes, they have done extremely well to get to the point that they've gotten at. Number 14 we're looking at, who is,
Let's see here, who is number 4? That's Leanne Allen on Plenty of Jewels.
That's one of the girls you're talking about? No, okay.
No. Leanne did not go to the state point. But there are 3 different people in this particular contest that are state winners. And we'll be seeing, we've seen 2 of them already, and we're looking for the other one, which we're going to get to see here in a minute. This is number 44. That's Cindy Reese on My Skip-a-Doo.
And now we're showing in the lope. Ask is a lope.
They've gone into a lope. Is that what it's
going
called?
to a lope? And you'll notice some of these kids are going to do like we were talking the other night. They're going to wait until they get on into the curve and to ask the horse to go into the lope, so they'll be sure to take the right lead. These kids have worked real hard to learn how to make the calls on their horses as well as they do. In fact, a lot of these kids show as well as some of the professionals, and certainly as well as a lot of the adults.
And they're all doing a really nice job. This is a fun class to watch. It really is. And I know that you all have worked.
There's a lot of time and effort that put into getting these horses ready.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think Elizabeth is telling us some information here. Hold on just a second, Elizabeth, and let's make sure you get your mic up. Maybe we can keep this up for the time. Go ahead.
Most of the kids will do their own training and their own grooming, and it's a lot of hard work and a lot of long hours put in on this.
I'm sure it is. I know it, and it shows. They do a really nice job. Now, Wes, there we go. That's our other 3rd state finalist, and that's Shannon Franklin. And she is also a state winner. And we have Wes Robertson here with us, and Wes, you placed on the walking horse level, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now we're going to name?
Judy Bassell.
And Judy, you work with this particular project.
Yes.
And what would you like to say to encourage other, maybe young people out there who would be interested in getting involved in the 4-H horse project?
Well, we do a lot of things with the kids that they really enjoy. We have cookouts. It's not just all work. We have fun things, too. We have pizza parties, and we have saddle cleaning clinics, and
just a lot of fun.
just anything that involves horses.
And Wes, how about you? You had first, now you didn't get to ride tonight because you have a broken collarbone, right?
Yes.
But you'll be, I guess, entering in the competition in just a little bit, probably. Tell us about that. What do you plan on doing for that?
In this show, I've got a girl riding my horse from Cookville, Sherry Maybe. This will be her second time to show this year, or ever, and she's done a real good job riding him because I can't ride him, and I have to have somebody ride my horse.
But all four people, all these 4-H state finalists will be going to an additional competition, right, Elizabeth?
Well, now, one girl went to the Southern Regionals. 3 of them chose not to go this year because it was in Cadiz, Texas.
I see.
And next year, we've got our fingers crossed that the competition will take place in Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, great.
So if it comes to Tennessee, I'm quite sure we're going to have a lot of kids from Putnam County.
Oh, I'm sure you will, and I hope a lot of people will take part. And Wes, you have anything you want to say to people who might be watching that'll encourage them to get involved?
It's fun. We do a lot of neat things, and we need some more boys in it.
Okay. Well, you probably have a good market on the girls there, but I'm sure that would be interesting to have some more guys get in the field there.
Yeah.
So, okay, fellas, you've heard it. You need to join the 4-H Horse Club, right? Project, okay? Thanks a lot, folks, for coming up here, and we'll be watching to see how the state finalists do out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's one thing I've never heard of was a saddle cleaning party. I can imagine they make a lot of money.
Plus, they have a good time.
Our judge for this category is a woman, Hilda Hadley. Thanks a lot for telling me that. I didn't know that. Is she from around here, anywhere?
Around Franklin.
Around Franklin. So not a local person, which is probably good for the competition, and we'll see how it turns out. She's a very good judge. I've been assured. So, okay. Well, thank you all for being with us, and we wish you luck, Wes.
Thanks. 4-H is certainly more involved in the horse shows than they were when I was young, and I think that's wonderful.
That's a wonderful idea. I had never realized that they even had that kind of a project. But there you see Cindy Reese on My Skip-a-Doo.
The judge is really looking her over.
And Diamond Desperado, that's Amy Shore's riding. And Amy was one of the state finalists, or state winners, that we just heard about from the 4-H Horse Project. See, they're making their decision. That would be a hard decision to make because there's a lot of entries in this particular category. We're getting a good light. They are lined up on the south side tonight, and we're getting a good look because Richard Castle is over there on the camera. But he's going to join us later.
Well, good.
And they did a wonderful job flying our cable over I guess our crew did a wonderful job. There's Richard flying our cable over there, and they're getting he's doing a great job getting that side of the field. We normally have not had the opportunity to have a look on the south side, but
no, we sure haven't. And I think that they're really getting a better view on TV than we are from where we're sitting.
That's true. That's true. And we want to thank F&I Cable, who loaned us, or actually brought a cherry picker out. That's one of those big bucket trucks, you know.
How wonderful.
And to fly the cable out there. So we certainly appreciate their support of Channel 22.
Presenting awards in this, the Youth Western class, will be Christina Maynard. She was the first runner-up in the Paris of Affairs competition this week.
Let you know who these entries are again real fast as we're waiting for the winners. Shane Sullivan is on Miss Bars, Amy Shores on Diamond Desperado, Kim Elmore on Tardy's Pleasure, Tracy Bissell on Proud Popper, Molly Bryant on Bar Roxy Girl, Cindy Reese on My Skip-a-Doo, Carrie Hightower on Might Fool Ya, she's from Sparta, Leanne Allen on Plenty of Jewels.
Your first place award.
Oh, and we're going to hear the first place, so we're going to turn over
100 Tardy's Pleasure. That's Kim Elmore. Kim Elmore, the owner-rider. She's from Crossville. Tardy's Pleasure is first across the ring, Kim. All other awards will be presented on the same side of the ring. It's your park zone 119, your second. Proud Popper. Tracy Bissell is the owner-rider from Cookville. Tracy Bissell riding Proud Popper to second. And your third award goes to entry number 44, My Skip-a-Doo. Cindy Reese rides. Horse on the Preston Vaughn, quarter horses of Cookville, and Cindy Reese on My Skip-a-Doo. 44 is third. Riders, if you will, you'll go out on the opposite end of the ring that you entered. The gate on the opposite end of the ring that you entered, if you will, please, is your exit gate. Fourth place award, fourth goes to 14, Plenty of Jewels. Leanne Allen rides. Entry on the Johnny Judd of Cookville, Leanne Allen aboard Plenty of Jewels, 14 is fourth. And the fifth place award goes to entry number 50, Spanish Idol. Morning Retta off Cookville, the owner-rider on Spanish Idol, number 50 is fifth. Thanking all of the entries, if you will, please, for your contribution to the class. Let's give them all a big round of applause for a fine Youth Western Pleasure.
Our winners from Master of Ceremonies Drew Huffines. First place went to Kim Elmore of Crossville on Tardy's Pleasure. Second place to Tracy Bissell on Proud Popper, and Tracy was one of the 4-H state winners, I guess, from the 4-H Horse Project. Third place was Cindy Reese on My Skip-a-Doo. Fourth place, Leanne Allen on Plenty of Jewels. And fifth place went to Morning Retta on Spanish Wolf.
So we have a very happy Kim Elmore tonight from Crossville then.
Yes, that's Spanish Idol.
The two-year-old walking horses coming to the ring next.
But anyway,
some of these kids had to come a long way to get here to help us with a good horse show tonight. And we appreciate it.
And they put together a really good show. That was
certainly did.
And it's nice to see a mixture of the Western Pleasure and the walking horse. And later on this evening, I believe we'll have another Western
horses. We've got road horses to buy. We've got a good variety tonight. You know, we lost a couple of classes this year that we had last year. One of them was the ladies amateur, and another one I think was one of the juvenile classes. But those same entries can enter other classes that we'll be seeing. So we haven't missed any horses. We've just shortened the show by a couple of classes.
Well, and that may have, I believe last year we were here till midnight and we still weren't finished with the show.
So we'll be done earlier tonight, I hope.
We'll see. But at any rate, we got started at 7 o'clock and we are doing pretty good.
We're moving right along. We have a good, nice, cool night tonight.
It really is. It's a perfect night for the fair. So if you haven't been to the fair yet, you still have plenty of time to come on down. It's early yet.
That's right. We've only seen 2 classes, and the last one was the Youth Western Pleasure, and the next one is the 2-year-old walking horse.
And that should be a good class.
That will be a good class. Now, those horses are not required to canter because they're so young. So this will be a good class.
And then there'll be the roadster ponies to bike after that, right?
That's right.
And so there's
That's
lots
my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good class. That's fun to watch.
It's a good look at the midway.
Yeah, it's going strong. And the food booths, you can go down there and get you all those good fair hamburgers and hot dogs and cotton candy and candy apples and ice cream and
We need our cotton candy.
We're going to have to get one. We'll have to make a cotton candy run before long.
I noticed that tonight they're doing something different, and they're having the horses come in on one end of the ring and go out on the other. So this will help expedite and keep the traffic down since there is so many people here tonight.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Oh, here we are. And they're coming in.
Okay.
And looking good.
And this is class number 3.
We only have
7 entries, I believe, in this particular class. Noble West from August, Tennessee, riding the exit. Number 99. Number 87 is Carl Hollingsworth of Sparta, riding Super Roma. Number 106, Kenneth Grider, riding Pride's Rising Moon, and he's from Mount Juliet.
We're looking at number 36 now.
That's Jerry Williams on Ebb's Classy Lad. And there you see 106, and that is Kenneth Grider on Pride's Rising Moon.
We have Ralph Chaffin on The Heat Is On.
These are just some of the other folks in the show. Let's see. That's number 47, who is Bobby Sawyers from Albany, I guess, on Self-Winder's Rascal.
That's right. He's been showing for a number of years in this area.
There you see Ralph Chaffin, and he's certainly a favorite of the crowd. He's on The Heat Is On.
And he's the one that Brenda said trains her horses.
That's right. And the particular horse he's on is owned by Kathy Wallace, who was up here talking with us earlier. And that's Jerry Williams on Ebb's Classy Lad. There you see Todd Bennett on Pride's
Signature Lady.
And he's from Deer Lodge. So we have a good showing tonight from out of town in this particular class.
That's a good look at Carl Hollingsworth from Sparta
on Super Roma.
Is the auto rider number 87, Carl Hollingsworth of Sparta, on Super Roma. 106 Pride's Rising Moon. It's Kenneth Grider, the rider, riding for Ken and Wonder Grider.
There you see Bobby Sawyers on Self-Winder's Rascal. He's from Albany.
Ralph Chaffin riding tonight for Kenneth.
Becky, you see these are a little bit better horses than what we saw the other night because our show is open to the world tonight. These horses do show the true performance of a walking horse. You'll see how his head's moving with every step that he takes. And then tonight we're looking at number 99 with Noble West. You'll notice tonight the horses are a little better groomed than they were the other night, in that we had so much mud that they weren't able to do it. They had their tails tied up, and they just really couldn't go to the lengths that they have tonight.
Well, the track looks great tonight, doesn't it?
We've got a beautiful track tonight. Everything's good and clean for them, and so we're able to see the horses and their their full dress tonight. There's one with one of those swatches we were talking about the other night. He has a wig on.
Oh, is that what that is?
Uh-huh.
A tail wig. There's Ralph Chaffin again on The Heat Is On.
And that's a real good example of a walking horse. See how he picks those feet up so high and moves the front legs up high and out and scoots the hind legs up underneath him.
That's a beautiful, it has an unusual coloring with the light mane and the dark body.
That is an unusual color for walking horses because most of the time they look for them to be a solid black or a bay. It's your top two colors, but that certainly is a showy color.
Man, they're doing a great job here. What are they looking for right now, Debbie?
The judge is looking for how much ease the rider can ride with, how smooth the horse is in picking his feet up and the hind movement of the legs scooting up underneath him. And he's asked them to go into the running walk, and they'll just speed it up quite a bit. And this is where a little bit of excitement comes in because the ones that have been laid back, taking it easy now, they've got to see how many they can pass and how much speed they can pick up without breaking their gait or losing a step.
Not only do the horses look good, but the riders look sharp too, don't they?
They do tonight. They don't mind at all coming out with their full riding habit on. And you'll notice these men's jackets, when they're sitting on the horse, look about like they're normal suit length. But when they're not on the horse and they're just standing up, those jackets come all the way down to their knees.
Oh.
And it look more or less like a dress with a pretty full skirt. They're supposed to represent what a Southern gentleman would have looked like.
Well, they're doing a good job. I'd say these are all fine Southern gentlemen here tonight.
I'd say you're right. The judges called for them to come back down to a flat-foot walk. They'll go around the ring about one more time, and he'll call them in a minute. So he's taking his final look at them. The judge is on our side of the ring for this class, and so what they'll do is they come around in front of us, they'll perform just a little bit better, and when they're on the judge's backside, then they'll kind of take it easy. If you'll notice, the riders every once in a while, they'll never look at the crowd. They'll look at the judge just every once in a while to see what he's doing, to see if they can take a break.
We have a really good crowd tonight. The grandstand is good and full on both sides.
It's the best crowd we've had since Monday night.
It really is. And they're lining up on our side of the track tonight. Although now with our camera out in the center, we have both sides, I guess. Can't say that anymore.
No. Our ringmaster tonight's really going to a lot of work to make sure they're lined up and where the judge is not going to have to walk so far to get from horse to horse. Our ringmaster is Donald Pierce. He's one of the deputy sheriffs for the Putnam County Sheriff's Department.
So he not only gets people in line, he's got to get these horses in line.
He's well experienced, I'd say. Our judge will go around and look at each entry in this class as well as all classes tonight. And Becky, when he goes around to take a look at these horses, he's going to be looking at their conformation, meaning that he's going to look at their coloring. Some people go to the effort, if they've got stocking or white legs, we call them stocking legs, they may go the effort of dyeing them, and he's going to look at this. If you'll look at this horse's feet, if you can see it as he goes by, these people, if you'll notice that one's front hooves are black while the back ones are brown or whatever. It's not the dirt to that. What they do is they polish those hooves with shoe polish.
Oh, is that right?
That's how much trouble that these riders and trainers go to make sure that everything is in perfect show condition.
And that's allowed? That's
oh,
okay.
Yeah. They can dye their hair color. They can polish the hooves. They can do anything cosmetically just about they want to, including the wigs. And
Well, I'd say he's got a tough decision to make on this particular class. I'm going to run through again quickly. We have Noble West on the exit from Allgood, Carl Hollingsworth on Super Roma from Sparta, Kenneth Grider on Pride's Rising Moon from Mount Juliet, Ralph Taffin on The Heat Is On from Cookville, Bobby Sawyers on Self-Winder's Rascal from Albany, Jerry Williams on Ed's Classic Lad
runner-up in the finish of the beer competition this week. She will be presenting awards. She's escorted by Biff Anderson. She'll present the blue ribbon and the trophy. In the class, all other awards will be presented by Abigail Renee Glass, Little Miss of Putnam
looks like
County Fair,
Maggie's
daughter Steve
decision
and
is
Darlene
Donald
Glass.
Pierce has turned it in, so Drew should be giving us the results just any second now. The judge is not wasting any time at all.
No, he's really not. He's moving through this rapidly. So, and we saw a few moments ago a good shot of one of our pageant winners, and these lovely ladies will be handing out the ribbons this evening and doing a fine job of it.
How often do you see that many men with hats on now?
Not very often. And he's not very often at all. There's one of our pageant winners. And here we're going to listen to the winners.
For the presentation of the awards, all other awards will be presented on the same side that you're parked. The first place award, first place in the 2-year-old walking competition goes to entry number 407. The heat is on. Ralph Traffic riding for Catherine Wallace of Cookville. 407. The heat is on. Is first in the class. Ralph Traffic on the heat is on. Second award in the class. Entry number 106, Pride's Rising Moon. Kenneth Grider is the rider for Ken and Wanda Grider, Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Riders, remember now, you'll leave the ring on the opposite end that you entered, leaving on the opposite end that you entered the ring on. Remember, too, first place winner, you're to go back by the checking station per normal. Third place award, third goes to entry number 87, Super Roma. Carl Hollingsworth of Sparta is the honor rider. Carl Hollingsworth on Super Roma, number 87, is third. Fourth place award, fourth in this class, goes to entry number 99. That's the exit. Noble West of Allgood is the owner and the rider. Fifth place award, fifth goes to number 47, Self-Winder's Rascal. Bobby Sawyers is the rider riding for Dr. Susan Cash, Albany, Kentucky. Self-Winder's Rascal 47 is fifth. Let's show them appreciation for a good 2-year-old class. A round of applause. Come on, let's hear from you. And if you don't please the winning entry, a final pass around the ring. The winning entry in the class is 407. The heat is on. Round champion.
Tonight, Debbie, we know who won in the third class there.
Okay, our number 1 winner was a happy Ralph Champion up on The Heat Is On.
There you see Ralph right now. That horse is owned by Kathy Wallace, and he was definitely a crowd favorite.
He absolutely was, made definitely a good show. Our number 2 was Kenneth Griner on Prize Rising Moon. Number 3 was Carl Hollingsworth from Sparta on Super Roma. Fourth was Noble West from Allgood on the exit. And fifth was Bobby Sawyer on Self-Winder's Rascal.
And that was a great class, and we got to see some really good horses.
We saw some great, that's probably the best class we've seen at the Putnam County Fair this year so far. So tonight should prove to be a really great night.
And the crowd's into it, aren't they?
They really are. You know, that helps the judge so much.
I would think it would. And I would think it would help the riders. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, here it comes. Here's your favorite.
Unless you're on the back side when they're yelling for somebody else. Oh, this is my class.
This
is the one that you like the most. And I don't blame you, because I
They're
like
going
it
the
too.
opposite direction. The first trip around, that is their
We've not got many entries tonight at all.
Ponies in the ring.
Only
and we have
3, I believe.
aboard.
And they really have a beautiful track for it tonight. It's not muddy, but and it's not dusty. So it should be perfect riding weather.
Looks like we've got a girl up tonight riding.
Number 367 on Radiant is Stephanie McGinnis from Knoxville. Downtown
McGinnis.
Strutter is 366. That's Jim
McGinnis.
And
Bobby Halder from Maryville is on 105 Kingman's Red Rooster.
And we'll try and pick those out for you as we go along. But that was Stephanie. There's Stephanie, you see.
Real unusual to see a girl on one of these places.
We have to show you a little bit of speed, and that's when we'll ask you for your applause to kind of get them excited.
We don't really have many people to do that in our area, do we?
I don't know of anyone that has a roadster to bike, pony or horse, either one. Primarily what you see these in East Tennessee or in Kentucky. So it's a real thrill to have these people even come into our area. One thing that happens, they stop off in Cookville on their way to Chevyville, which started last night, the World Championship Horse Show. So they very well are on their way to Chevyville and just stopped off. Last year we had quite a few more entries than we did this year.
Yeah, we really did. There you see Bobby Holder of Maryville, and I would say, I guess the McGinnises are related.
Sure. This is one year I didn't have time to go back behind the barns to talk to them and see them. But if you'll notice, these horses or ponies are taking a different gait altogether than the last class we just looked at, and they're trotting, which is entirely different gait than the walking horses. And if you could take a still picture, there are every 4 step, there's not any feet on the ground. So their little feet are
moving,
and they go straight up, both the hind feet and the back feet, causing a prancing motion. That's a real good picture there of it.
John Collins, please, working the job.
And this is a fun event for the crowd, something that everybody gets into.
Yeah, the judge is looking to see how high and straight up they pick those feet up and put them back down, and how prancy they are, how well the pony holds and carries himself by holding his head up and his ears pointed forward. And they're going to reverse, and it takes quite a bit of room for these to turn around.
I would say so.
Now, they'll turn around and they'll go back at a slow jog, and then Drew will ask them to move on. And when he does, he's also going to ask everybody to get off the rail because they flat move on. And he's also asking the crowd to show who their winner is by applauding, and so we should have some good response from this.
There you see Jim McGinnis of Knoxville on downtown Strutter. And there's Stephanie McGinnis on Radiant, also from Knoxville. I believe that is the first female or lady that we've ever seen in this particular.
First one that I can remember in Cookville in the roadster class.
Rotate, please. Rotate your pony.
I'm not real sure, but I think this Kingman's Red Rooster is the one that was here last year that's won 13 times, and they won last year as well.
I believe it is. That's Bobby Holder from Maryville, and I remember that name.
If he wins tonight, I believe it'll be his 15th win at the Putnam County Show.
There you go. There's Bobby Holder on Kingman's Red Rooster. But he's got some stiff competition, I'd say, tonight, so it'll be an interesting decision.
If you'll notice, they don't use these whips.
They just
crackle them.
Shut.
They'll crackle them every
really?
once in a while. So now he's asked them to go on, and they're supposed to go at speed. And if you'll notice, they're moving on along.
They sure are.
And they've got the room. There's not too many in here tonight that they can go ahead and move on. And in fact, to get them to stop in a few minutes, they'll use a whistle. Because normally the crowd gets so enthused that they can't hear him
telling them to stop.
That's right. Oh,
well, good. Bobby Holder's taking off. He's passing them up now.
And that's our man that's won 14 times.
And
so.
he, I believe, is the crowd favorite. He's getting a good hand from the north side of the grandstand.
But you think about it, that little horse has got to be 16 years old then.
I guess so.
You can't start showing them until they're 2, and if he's already won 14 times, he's making an awfully good show to be that old.
Certainly.
Their 1 year is equal to our 4 or 7.
I couldn't run that fast when I got there. I can't run that fast now.
Coming in over on the south side of the grandstand, watch your ringmaster will line up head and tail. On the south grandstand.
And they're going to line up on the south side of the grandstand. And Drew's just asked for a big hand from the crowd for the folks from East Tennessee who brought the Roadster ponies to bike, and that is certainly a treat for us for them to do that.
The Roadster Pony class has been a very, very valuable part of this show, and we've always appreciated the contribution that East Tennessee.
You're watching WCTV TV, Cookeville, Tennessee.
When it's time for the show, a little later tonight, we'll be bringing back the road horses to bike. That'll be a little later tonight. Another class in this 19-class show.
Well, I guess everybody will get a ribbon in this class, huh?
I don't
Maybe?
think they don't have anything to worry about there. You realize that if a class has less than 4 entries, the Horse Show Committee has the right to cancel that class out altogether.
Oh, really?
But considering the fact that these have come as far as they have, I'm sure they wouldn't even consider canceling this particular class.
I would say they'd get a really uproar from the crowd.
That's right. Maryville's, what, 3 hours away?
That's right.
Came in from the city.
See how these ponies are stretched out?
He's a check-in for an address
Now,
in the community.
so are these like racing ponies?
Everybody's
No.
laughing at him, you know. He sauntered around there a few minutes.
But I think 40% of what they're judged on is on speed. So it's really not racing, but
that same sort of
the speed is a very important part since that gives them 40% of what they're judged on.
And there you see our fairest of the fair, Kim Harville. Kim is from Monterey.
He said, well,
and looking
I wasn't in any
very
pain,
pretty
but
tonight.
It just don't take me long to look at a horseshoe. This is the Roadster Pony to Bike competition. We're going to ask that winning entry now, if you will, please. We're going to take him around the ring, and we'll ask the other entries, all entries, if you would, just pull them right in on the track a little bit, so we'll have a little bit of room when we announce that winning entry. Presenting the awards in this class.
And I believe Drew is going to be giving us the winner here in just a moment. Here he goes.
That first place award in the class goes to entry number 105, Kingman's Red Rooster. Bobby Holder is the whip for Holder in Haskell, Maryville, Tennessee. Going to take him around, Bobby. And a great time to show your appreciation of this first place winner at the Putnam County Fair. Trophy will be presented on the opposite side that you were parked, and that ribbon and the trophy to Bobby Holder on Kingman's Red Rooster, 105 for Holder and Haskell, Maryville, Tennessee. Thank you, Bobby. Second place award, the other awards will be presented the same side that you're parked in on, and that second place award goes to entry number 367. That's Radiant, and Stephanie Moganius of Knoxville is the driver. Stephanie Moganius driving Radiant 367 from Knoxville. Stephanie, if you will, we're going out on the opposite end that you came in on, please, over on the opposite side. I'm sorry, they've got all the ribbons on the opposite side in this class only. Third place award, third goes to number 366, Downtown Strutter. Jim Moganius of Knoxville is the whip. Exiting, if you will, on the opposite end that you came into the ring, please. Once again, let's show our appreciation to these drivers and these fine for a very...
Sovereign Go Boy? Think that would be right?
Sovereign Go Boy.
Elam Sovereign Go Boy, I think. And that's Randall Phillips. And the owner is Randall Phillips of Cookeville.
John Enrick on Prize Morningstar will be 401 from Crossville.
And James Lawson will be riding Heaping Spoonful, also from Crossville.
Tommy Bandy from Allgood will be on Little Phoebe.
And Foster Brooks on Ebony's Bay Roller of Hendersonville. That's not the Foster Brooks you're thinking about. Now, come on.
We have Neil Gibbons Sr. from Crossville on
Ebony's
Black Tide. Ebony's Black Tide.
Yeah, that looks like what it is. And James Mitchell on Chef Sunrise from Hillham.
Nelda Wright from Cookeville on Nelda's Red Coin. And, you know, she showed in 2-3 classes Thursday night and made a real good show.
William Bean on Colors Blackjack from Cookeville.
Linda Miller from Cookeville on Domino's Ragtime Gal.
I believe Linda also showed the other night.
She sure did.
Joe Humphrey on Mills Delight from Sparta.
And Diane Mathis of Baxter on Delightful Mac.
So, we've got a big class tonight in this particular show.
These are your walking horses that you can get out and take on a pleasure ride and go on the trail. You don't have to worry about losing those built-up pads, feet. You don't have to worry about keeping them in a tail set. They're strictly pleasure horses.
So once a horse has the pads, a walking horse has the pads, they stay on?
Well, they don't have to. In fact, when show season's not going on, say like in another month or two, a lot of these big show horses that are here, they'll pull the pads off of them, let their feet grow out, and then continue to let them just grow all winter, and then about February, March, put the pads and the shoes back on them and start all over. That would be more or less on your aged horses that don't need to be worked every day through the winter.
There you see William Bean on Colors Blackjack.
Might want to mention that a lot of the show horses that we've seen in past years, as they get a little bit older, some of the people do pull their pads off of them, put regular shoes on them, and turn them into pleasure horses. This is the same horse.
Just given a different name, huh?
That's right. Those built-up feet and pads and chains make them carry their feet just a little bit further, further out and a little showier.
Go Boy Randall Phillips, owner rider, Cookeville. 401 is Prize Morningstar. That's John Emmerich in the saddle tonight for Bass Graham of Crossville. Number 402, Heaping Spoonful.
Notice a lot of these girls have got gloves on in this class tonight, as the men have hats on. Those are a couple of things that you don't see anymore, and that's because traditionally walking horses are representative of the old Southern tradition. So they try to stay as much with that as they can.
170 is Chief Sunrise, James Mitchell riding. Entry off of Mr. and Mrs. James Mitchell of Hillham. 250 on the Cookeville. 90 riding.
There's William Bean again.
144, Colors Blackjack, William Bean of Cookeville riding. 14 Domino's.
There you see Neil Gibbons on Ebony's Black Tie.
88, Joe Humphrey of Sparta in the saddle on Mills Delight. 152, that's Delightful Mac with Diane Mathis of Baxter. Let's walk now. Horses walk.
You see all the ribbons they've got in their hair tonight? That one's called Butterfly. And as they braid that ribbon, he's called for them to canter now. As they braid the ribbons, they just butterfly those right in with it. Makes it look a little showier.
That's Randall Phillips of Cookeville.
And again, in this class, it's just as important on the canter that they take the proper lead. We've got a couple that's having a little problem with that. They may wait until they get on into the curve to ask the horse to canter. Classes that we're seeing here tonight will be shown in Shelbyville. As a matter of fact, Shelbyville is not just the walking horse celebration, World Championship celebration. They have a lot of courtesy classes that are not a world championship class, but they have the roadster bikes, the pleasure horses, and a lot of classes that we won't even see here tonight. That show lasts 10 days. We do have some entries here that we'll be looking at later on tonight that will be in Chevyville this coming week. So if we see a few that we can recognize, we'll point them out to you.
We haven't been given that information, but we may just know of some.
Recognize them,
right,
maybe.
Recognize some of the ones that will be going to Shelbyville. So, and that lasts for 10 days. When does it start?
Started last night. It ends a week from tonight.
So you may want to go to Shelbyville sometime this week.
I recommend if they go before next Friday night, because your championship classes will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And it's standing room only. Most people that get their tickets have had their tickets for a number of months. They do have a few general admission seats, but if you're going to do that, you need to be there about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
That's right.
Well, now you've been given some good advice on what to do when you go to Shelbyville. And you might not want to have a place to stay or a sleeping bag in your car.
I think they better take a sleeping bag. There's not many motel rooms in Chevyville.
Right. There you see Linda Miller of Cookeville on Domino's Ragtime Gal. Is that a Pinto? What? The Spotted Pony?
I would call that a Pinto. However, in your pleasure walking horse classes, normally when you think of a Pinto, you think of a quarter horse.
A Western horse, right?
Yeah.
So we won't call it that. We'll call it a spotted walking horse. Right. We'll call it by its name, Domino's Ragtime Gal. And you're getting to see a good look of this at this large class. I think if I were going to enter a class, although that will never happen because I don't have a horse and I don't know how to ride. But
well, we'll see if we can't take care of that next year.
No. But if I were going to, I would want to enter one where I did not have to canter.
Well, then you'd need to enter a ladies class or a 2- or 3-year-old class. Or if you could fudge a little bit, you could go in juvenile class.
No, I don't think I could fudge that
much. Not that much.
No. Oh, the costume class, Donna said. I could get into the code work. Yes, that's a good one for me. Well, you know, a long time ago, when my grandfather had horses, and that was a horse, of course, that was a class that we always entered. My cousin Mark Phipps and I, we always would get on one of the horses and get in the little costume class.
Oh, that's fun. I'll tell you what, next year we'll see if we can arrange to do the lead line. I'll lead and you sit on the saddle.
Okay. That sounds like a good one. And Donna will talk about it. I can see it coming. And I bet Danny Vaughn would let us borrow his mule. How about that?
We'll see if we can arrange that.
Okay.
And we're looking at number 402. Is James Lawson from Crossville with a heaping spoonful.
Now the canter.
See, there goes that canter again. Now, that would make me really nervous.
You know, it's really not that hard. All they have to do, and if you'll notice, he's leaned over just a tad when he began, and each one's looking over their right shoulder to make sure they've took the right lead. All you've got to do, Becky, is just reach with your right foot up to the horse's shoulder and tap on it. These horses are very well trained that when you tap that shoulder with your foot, and call on them to canter, they'll automatically go right on into it. Now, that takes a lot of training to reach that point. And it's much easier if you're in the curve when the call comes for the canter, or if you are just close enough to it to fudge a little bit, go on into the curve and then call on the canter. Because when you're in the curve, the inside leg, which is, in this case, the right leg, has to go out further when it hits the ground than the other leg. So if they're in the curve, they automatically have to take the correct lead so that inside leg will reach out further.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So, it's good to be in the car?
All you have to do is just reach out with that foot and
Just
say,
tap that right shoulder,
that's
huh?
right, and say canter. Now, for young kids, it gets a little confusing to them.
Sure. You'd have to make sure you knew which was your right and your left.
It's always your inside leg.
All right, right.
Whatever leg is the closest to the judge is the one that has to take the lead.
See, I'm learning so many things. I'm glad you're here. Someone came up to me and they said, well, I'm glad you admittedly know nothing about horses. And I said, yes, I admit it. That's true. So, but you do a terrific job, and you certainly have. I do want to ask you one question. How could you give this up if you have worked at this for so long? And you don't show anymore, do you?
I don't have time. You need to ride every day to do a good job, and I don't have the time that it takes to do that. I wish I did. I would love to get back into it, but anytime I want to ride, I can always go home. My dad rides every day, so there's no problem with that. But the thrill of showing, you never overcome.
So you still miss it, but you just don't have the time to.
No. Maybe one day.
Yeah, we'll look for you. Maybe that costume class, right?
Right.
Or the lead line class.
Rankin horses get the call next.
So they've lined up on the north side of the grandstand, facing us. And the judge, who is Billy Renfro from Union Springs, Alabama, will be making his decision. Our master of ceremonies this evening, there you see our judge. Our master of ceremonies this evening is Drew Huffines of Cookeville. There you see the grandstands. It's a good night tonight at the Putnam County Fair. We've got lots and lots of people here, not only in the grandstands, but lined up around the ring there. And you see, helping out the judge, our ringmaster Donald Pierce of Cookeville. Our organist this evening is Wayne Neighbors of Cookeville, who does a great job. On staff, I guess, just standby, veterinarian Donald Raglan of Livingston, Donald Raglan. And the farrier is Richard Carey of Cookeville. Now, that's the guy who replaces the shoes, right?
That's right. If we happen to lose any, maybe we'll be lucky tonight and not lose any. We only lost one shoe Thursday night, and it's up to the rider if he wants to take time out to get it replaced, or if he wants to just leave the ring and go on. They only have a certain period of time. I have to look it up and see, but I think they've only got 7 minutes
to do that,
to replace their shoe. And so the farrier has to be really quick and know what he's doing to get it back on. They have to, and that time, by the way, includes finding the shoe.
Oh no. Which, if it had been Thursday night, would have been a real difficult task since there was so much mud.
There's a lot of expense that goes into shoeing the show horses because they have the built-up pads, and the shoes and the pads are custom made for the size of the horse's foot and for the way he walks, and there's weights put on maybe one side of the shoe rather than the other, and so they have a lot of expense in that. So when they do lose a shoe, they want to be sure to find it as quick as they can. 7 minutes will be granted to replace one shoe. Now, I have seen them lose both shoes, and so it's important that farrier, they keep up with the time. So if you lose one shoe and he can get it back on in 2 minutes, you still got 5 minutes left. And I have seen them lose 2 shoes, and it's up to the ringmaster and the judge if they want to give you the rest of your time or not. So most of the time, if you lose that second shoe, you're gone.
Your history, huh?
You take the gate.
You take the gate. Okay, our show secretary is Jerry Cumby of Cookeville, and Jerry's done a nice job all week with the Putnam County Fair, and his wife Brenda been very helpful with Channel 22, and we appreciate that. Also, Clyde Pippin, our fair manager, has been very helpful, and we appreciate Mr. Pippin. And I believe Drew is ready, so we'll turn to him for the winners.
If you will, please, the gate will be open on the opposite end of the ring for you to exit. Your first place award in the class, in this class number 5, the Plantation Pleasure Walkers. Your first place award in the class, right around entry number 588. That's Mills Delight and Joe Humphrey. Joe Humphrey from Sparta, riding Mills Delight, the first place in the class. Award on the same side as your park right in, please. Entry number 77, Elam Souvenir. Go boy. Randall Phillips is the owner rider from Cookville. Randall Phillips riding out Elam Souvenir. Go boy to second. Third award in the class. Third place goes to entry number 35, Little Phoebe. Little Phoebe, ridden by Tommy Vandy of Allgood. Third in the class. Fourth award goes to 402, Heaping Spoonful. James Lawson is the rider, riding from Ross Strong of Crossville, Tennessee. Heaping Spoonful, 402 is fourth. And the fifth award goes to 401, Pride's Morning Star. John Emmerich is the rider. Entry on the Vance Ground, Crossville, Tennessee. John Emmerich riding Pride's Morning Star in the field. Big round of applause for all these fine riders on the Plantation Pleasure class. All entries get a big round of applause. Thank you, riders, in class number 5.
And we'll go through the winners just again quickly for you for this particular entry class, which was Plantation Pleasure walking horses with no built-up feet. First place went to Joe Humphrey of Sparta, Tennessee on Mills Delight. And second went to Randall Phillips on Elam Sovereign Go Boy from Cookville. Third went to Tommy Bandy of Allgood on Little Phoebe. Fourth, James Lawson on Heaping Spoonful of Crossville. And fifth went to John Enrick on Pride's Morning Star of Crossville. Debbie, what's our next class?
Our next class?
Hold on, I'm off one.
Our next class is juveniles on ranking horses, and they can have built-up feet or they can be flat shot, either one, which means they can have plain shoes or they can have an inch or so of pad between the shoe and their hoof. So this is a relatively fast class for juveniles because these horses move pretty fast. They're looking for them to pick their feet up and go straight out rather than a walk or a trot, either one. And when they ask them to move on, they move on. They go really pretty fast. So that's unusual for them to have a juvenile ranking class. And our money tonight is quite a bit more than is normal for any show. And these classes, the first 19, have a first prize of $50. I want to mention that the Putnam County Horse Show put $3,300 in the pot tonight for prize money, and that's a big paying show. It is. And all the money came from the county.
Well, great.
Not any individual sponsored classes. I think that says a lot
for this particular show tonight?
Yes.
Well, that's terrific. All the different classes are sponsored by the county then. Why don't you tell us who's on the fair board? I mean, on this particular horse show.
Okay. Our chairman tonight is Roy Fox, and he has a committee with Ray Allen Phillips, Larry Ford, Heidi McWilliams, Don Pierce, who's the ringmaster, and Harold Robertson. A lot of people call him Jimmy. And Taylor Loftus. And most of these people have been on this committee for a number of years. So,
and that is the Open to the World Horse Show Committee?
That's right. I noticed that Heidi McWilliams has always been one of our better showmen, and she's not showing tonight that I've noticed, probably because she is on the committee. That's a hard thing to do, to give up.
It would be a hard thing
to do. Maybe we'll see her in here anyway, though, I hope.
She may be. Oh, let's hope so. We'll look for her. We have in this particular class, number 200 is Christy Hodges Gallatin, Tennessee, on Black Imperial. On number 94 is
Renee Sprouse on Mr. Magic's Black Angel from Tompkinsville, Kentucky.
There you see number 50, Marty Giesling of Hillham on
Navajo.
Navajo. There you get these Indian names on Navajo.
And we also have with us tonight Sally Gibbons on Traveling Sam. And
there you see Renee Sprouse of Tompkinsville, Kentucky on Mr. Magic Black Angel.
And we also have with us tonight Neil Gibbons on Ebony's Black Tide.
Also, I guess from Cookville. I assume they're just from Cookville. And Neil is on 103. So as they come around, if we can see their numbers, we'll try and place the horse.
I believe that's Neil Gibbons Jr. we're looking at right here.
Well, that's Marty Giesling of
Okay,
Hillham on
sorry.
number 50.
And these juveniles are making an excellent ranking class show.
What's the age on that?
But juveniles are 18 and under.
There you see Renee Sprouse from Tompkinsville, Kentucky.
These kids show against each other all summer at various shows around the state. And they look forward to seeing each other each weekend at the shows, and they become very competitive with each other.
There's Christy Hodges of Gallatin on Black Imperial.
Vicki, I'm sure you've noticed the different way that these horses handle their movement and motion from the other classes that we've looked at tonight. So each different breed of horse has a different way of going.
Now, I would think that the people up on the ring, I would think would bother the horse, but does it not? Do they just get so used to it?
Well, one thing that I'm sure a lot of these juveniles have done is they know where their trainer is. And so when they ask for a reverse, they try to make it to wherever that trainer's standing on the side of the ring. And that little girl looked like she was getting a little bit of advice. It's a smart move.
That is a smart move.
And give your horse a break, because they could just turn around and go the other way. But the judge allows that for them to get a little bit of advice and take a minute's break and then go ahead and take the reverse. When they call for a reverse, you are allowed that time to stop. You turn around and you begin in a flat foot walk again, or a slow walk, whichever breed you happen to be riding, whatever that class calls for. Your slowest gait.
I believe that is Neil Gibbons Jr. on Ebony's Black Tie.
We've seen him in a couple of other classes tonight. He's going to be worn out.
He has been in several already, so he probably will get pretty tired before the night's out.
Well, that's what the county fair is all about.
There you see Christy Hodges on Black Imperial.
Well, Becky, have you got a winner picked out yet?
Oh, it's hard to decide, but I think I might have to go with Renee Sprouse from Tompkinsville. That would just be my unexpert guess.
You didn't do that because it was a woman now, did you?
Well, no. Well, there you see Renee right now. She's got a showy horse.
Well, her horse is just on the verge of being a walking horse, you know.
Is that the maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm thinking out a walking horse.
Well, when you have a walking horse, as you start training them from the yearling stage into the 2-year-old stage, ranking is what they do. And you take them from that and you train them on into their gait. So that's not unusual at all.
Well, I'm just totally sitting here as a spectator.
No, you're doing good. Next year, you're going to be able to do this without me.
No, absolutely not. Nope. You're signed up for life. You know? And you see there Christy Hodges, Marty Giesling, number 50. And they're all lined up there side by side practically. I see 4 horses, although I had been given 5 entries, but I guess we do not have Sally Givens. I don't see that number anywhere. There are 4 horses in this particular class, class number 6, which is the juveniles on racking horses. In order is Christy Hodges, Renee Sprouse, Neil Givens, and Marty Giesling. Well, have you picked out a favorite?
Well, that's what I was looking at. I think I'm going to go with number 200, Christy Hodges.
She's in the light blue jacket. There she is, right there. So, they are lining up on the south side of the grandstand.
I have a bad tendency to pick one out and watch it all the way through the class and then not see the others, and sometimes you miss a good horse for that.
Well, I think they've all done a nice job. We've seen a really good show in this particular category.
Certainly have. If you'll notice how that most of these are stretched way out, that's part of the confirmation because they're judged on their parking. What they're doing now is what you call parking ability, as well as anything else that they do. And 25% of this class is judged on what the judge sees as he walks by them.
And there you see our judge, Billy Renfro, along with the ringmaster, who is Donald Pierce of Cookville.
The little boy on the end in the green jacket really is doing a good job. That's really how they're supposed to be parked out.
That's Neil Givens Jr. on Ebony's Black Tie. With really stretched out then, right?
That's right.
And I believe our ringmaster is going to pass on the information to Drew Huffine, our master of ceremonies. You see Drew there.
Wins the $50 savings bond from.
Certainly is great having that camera over on the other side. Richard Castle doing a terrific job, and our other camera people doing great jobs. Right now we have Steve Boots on a camera, and
Off the ring entry number 200, Christy Hodges on Black Imperial. Christy Hodges aboard Black Imperial, entry on by Sonny Gregory. Gallatin. Black Imperial is first. All other awards will be presented on the same side of the ring as your parked riders. Second place award to number 94, Renee Sprouse on Mr. Magic's Black Angel. Mr. Magic's Black Angel, Renee Sprouse in the irons for Charles Gerald Timber Company, Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Third award, third goes to entry number 50, Navajo. Marty Giesling of Hillhound is the owner and rider. Navajo with Marty Giesling up as third. Fourth award to 103, Ebony's Black Tide. That's Neil Givens Jr., the owner rider on Ebony's Black Tide, fourth in this class. Round of applause for all of these entries, if you will, please.
Okay, thank you, Drew Huffines. That was a good class. We had Christy Hodges, the first place winner on Black's Imperial. And in second place, we had Renee Sprouse on Mr. Magic's Black Angel. And Marty Giesling from Hillhound took third on Navajo, while Neil Givens Jr. took fourth on Ebony's Black Tie. So that was a great class.
Well, that's a good class. And Debbie, you did pick the first place winners. You did.
But you had
did
the
good.
second place. We're doing better.
Yeah, but tell them what you just told me.
Well,
Tell them what you just told me.
I said, I believe I don't want you to buy any horses for me just yet.
You said I was doing better, but
you're
you
doing a
weren't
lot
gonna let
better.
me buy any horses.
Maybe next year I'll let you go out and buy me a horse or two.
Okay. And there you see our first place winner, Christy Hodges.
The next class number 7, Road Horses to Bike. And here comes the ring next. We're looking for 1 entry. Believe I can judge the class. 1 entry.
And we're ready for class number 7, which is the Road Horse to Bike. This isn't a pony.
Okay, that's my second favorite class.
And we only have 1 entry, which is Bobby Holder of Maryville on High Lady. and he's going to do the full show, even though he's the only entry.
I think that's marvelous. And I think it's good of the Putnam County Fair Committee to not cancel this class out, since he has come all the way from Maryville. This has always been one show that these roadster horses have looked forward to coming to, because there are fewer and fewer shows in Middle Tennessee for them now.
Now, will he have to go through all the different gates, just like?
The judge will probably call on him to go in each gate once around the ring. So we'll probably see him but maybe 6 rounds tonight, and then they'll go on. But not only do they have to travel a great deal of miles to get here, but you look at all this harness work and how polished it is and the hours. It takes them a full day to prepare for showing in this class. So a lot of hard work just for about 10 or 15 minutes to show.
And they've moved into the road gate. I picked that up from Drew.
All right. And that road gate, see how swift those feet are moving and how smooth that ride is.
Have you ever tried to do that?
Never have. We had a sulky and a road horse, but you have to have a good place to work. And it's a lot of trouble to load up and come out here to the fairgrounds. It's the only place
that you could do that
at that time that you had to work a road horse. And that's one reason that not too many people have these anymore, because you have to have a full facility for it. You'll notice when he turns around, Becky, he has to take a great deal of room to make that turn. When you've got several horses in this particular class, it can really get hazardous when they ask for the reverse.
I bet, because he has really just cut all the way across in the middle of the green and come back.
And yes.
Well, those poles there don't look real flexible. I don't guess you could turn them very easily.
Not very well. You'll notice he's got his stable colors on tonight, and if we had more entries, you would see the same, that they always have their stable colors.
That's Bobby Holder of Maryville. He is the owner of High Lady, which is the road horse to bike.
Bobby certainly deserves a hand for supporting the Putnam County Fair and Horse Show, because he's been here for a number of years, and he was in the pony class earlier, and he won, which made his 15th year to win on that same pony.
Which is commendable that he's been coming that many times.
That's right.
Doing a good job. He's with Holder and High School Stables in Maryville.
That's right.
All right, help me make a little noise now. Let's get him up into the high gear, and we're going.
Now they're moving up, aren't they?
And ask for the
high gear. He's asked for the high gear.
You'll notice the crowd picks up, the music picks up, everything picks up when they ask for him to go at road speed.
And we're going to turn it over and listen to the organ playing of Wayne Neighbors, as he's doing a great job. And just watch this pony or horse run.
When I see these, I always feel like I'm at the races, especially with all the colors.
And he's getting a nice response from the north side of the grandstand. And I'm sure he's getting one from the south side, too.
Now let's jog. Jog, please. All right, lineup time. Coming on the track, north side of the ring this time. The road horses and the road ponies have a little bit of a disadvantage out at a place where we're crowded like we are outside the show ring. They love to get them warmed up a lot out there and get them ready before they come to the ring, but in a crowded space like we have out in the back of the grandstand, it's a little bit tough to get them warmed up and ready to go. And that's the reason you give them a little extra time when they get to the ring. Kind of get them loose and moving.
I would say.
Very quick.
And we understand jam getting into the fairgrounds.
That's right, for those of you who are listening and not in line.
And not in line, guess what? There's a line to get in.
I just wonder if it's still back to the courthouse.
I don't know. My husband, Peter, just came, and he said that it had taken him 45 minutes.
He obviously wasn't watching us.
He was not watching us, no. So, but don't let that discourage you. We still want you to come down. Probably now you could come and there'll be no line, so... That's not true, Donna says. There will be a line, but come anyway.
The last night of the Putnam County Fair, you're going to have 365 more days before you can come back.
Right. So you ought to come down and get that cotton candy and candy apple and all that other good stuff. There's Bobby Holder.
Will be presented to entry number 105, High Lady. Bobby Holder is the whip. He's from Maryville, Tennessee. He's also the owner. He's been coming down here to Putnam County the Fair for a
You know, they don't call him the rider, they call him the whip.
That's true. And I had not noticed that until you just mentioned that, but I've been saying it wrong. Now remember.
Well, only in this class. Road classes.
And taking first place is Bobby Holder on High Lady from Maryville. And since he was the only person in that class.
All right,
well, he certainly deserves to be here. It takes a lot of courage to get out there and be the only one.
I'm sure everybody has a chance to look at you real close then.
You know, we mentioned this the other night that we'd go to horse shows all across the state, and we'd come back, and people would always ask you, well, what did you get at the horse show? And you'd tell them, oh, I got first, and you were doing great until they asked you, well, how many were in the class?
You didn't want to say.
No, you didn't. No, there were a few.
There were one or two, anyway. Okay, we're coming up on
juveniles, 17 and under on walking horses. So this should be a real good class because we're going to be looking at the show horses in this class, not just pleasure. They are allowed to have the built-up feet, the cut tails that are set, and chains on their feet. So we should be seeing a good variety of good dressed-up show horses.
So the works.
That's right.
We'll get the works with this class. Okay, you're seeing it live from the Putnam County Fair, Channel 22's coverage. And Deb, we were trying to think the other night how many years we've been covering the Putnam County Horse Show live and the Open to the World Horse Show, and you've been with us 3 years.
3 years.
So live, I believe we have covered it 3 years, and then the one before that, we covered it on tape and ran parts of it. So,
but certainly is a pleasure, and you would be surprised at how many people comment that they've seen the show, and through the winter it surprises me. Oh, I saw you last night on TV.
That's right, because this will come to you again this winter on a special series called Highlights of the Putnam County Fair.
Every Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Whenever Donna decides to run. It has traditionally been then, so it probably will again. But it is a very popular show, and we'll show all the different things that we've been taping throughout the week. And we're on class number 8. That's class number 8.
We're looking at number 855, Shaker's Glory with Misty Phillips up. And he's owned by Philip Schuster of Monterey.
Oh, that's right.
All right, juveniles, that's been doing the running walk now. Showing the running walk.
And they've moved into a running walk.
That's Eric Swofford riding for John Swofford, Pikeville, Tennessee. Number 101, Little Doctor. Craig Cravens is part of the honor rider. 23 Replica Duplicator, Chad Poland.
That's Eric Swofford with Ebony's Dust H. His father was the judge Thursday night.
Oh, and he's from Pikeville.
That's right.
And 251 Sundust Royal Flush, Mickey Wright.
And the other folks in this particular category are Greg Cravens from Sparta on Little Doctor, Chad Poland on Replicas Duplicatory. Replicas Duplicatory.
He's from Glasgow, Kentucky.
A lot of Kentucky folks down here
Lots
tonight.
of them.
Misty Phillips, as you mentioned, on Shaker's Glory from Philip Shoes in Monterey. and Mickey Wright on Sundust Royal Flush from Cookville.
We have a good class tonight.
Sure do.
Back on the rail and a flat walk.
The Cookville Horse Show on Saturday night is always well represented by people from East Tennessee and Kentucky as well. I think the Fair Board or Horse Show Committee must do a lot of promotion for our weekend show. And of course, these people are en route to Chevyville, a lot of them.
As you mentioned, we have had a really good showing from all different places this evening, and that's fun. Makes a good show. Lots of folks here tonight at the Putnam County Fair for the very last evening, and the Midway's going, and the horse show is going, and everybody seems to be having a good time.
This show tonight is a sanctioned show, sanctioned by the Walking Horse Breeders Association. And it is a federal law that each one of these horses, before they come into the ring tonight, after they're ready to come out of the stable and they're ready to come in to be shown, must go through a federal steward station for inspection to make sure that their feet are sound, meaning that they've not been sored, they don't have any scars now. Used to, they just looked at them to see if they were sored, but this law has been in effect long enough now they're looking for scars as well. If there's any evidence of anything like that, they're prosecuting these people now, so we're having a much cleaner horse show, and we're seeing a lot more involvement now from people. It scared a lot of people off from it for a long time because it became a nasty thing to be involved with.
Right. It had a bad name for a while.
It did, but now the Humane Society and the FDA has really helped clean this up a lot, and we're seeing a lot of people get back and involved in it again. We're going in the canter now, and this young man's taking a very good lead in the canter. That's what President Kennedy used to call the rocking chair class. Rocking horse, you're right. Not rocking chair, rocking horse.
Rocking horse.
That was one of his favorite gaits, incidentally.
Oh.
The rocking horse.
Well, this certainly is synonymous with Tennessee, so if anybody enjoys being in Tennessee, they gotta enjoy walking horses.
And we're looking at Greg Craven
From Sparta on Little Doctor.
And they've asked for a reverse. I have.
Yes, and there you see Mickey Wright on Sundust Royal Flush of Cookville. Mickey showed quite a bit the other night at the Putnam County Horse Show.
Yes, he did. You'll notice these kids are really doing an excellent job tonight. They're keeping themselves well spaced out from each other, and that's unusual for kids. The adults don't really do that well. It is a trait of better showmanship for them to keep themselves spaced out and as close to the rail as possible. And this is something the judge is going to look at, as well as the horse. All these things combined together count.
They really are doing a nice job, and they're dressed very well, and they look really sharp. Good show in this class. There you see Misty Phillips of Monterey on Shaker's Glory.
Takes a look to see if the judge is watching her.
Don't blame her.
Well, if he's not, she
can
a
ease
good
up
rider.
bit.
That's right. She knows. And one thing that really helps give these kids some enthusiasm about showing is as they approach the judge for you to clap for them. A lot of people clap when you get in front of them, and the trick is to clap as you're in front of the judge.
Oh, that's a clue. Now, see, I never knew that. I always clapped when they got in front of me.
Oh, no. That way, when the horse is right there in front of the judge, he knows the crowd's with him.
I wonder how many years I blew it for you, Debbie.
No.
I was clapping for you, and you were in front of me.
But it's a real thrill.
Hey, we've got a treat coming up here in a minute. We're going to get to see something.
Now walking.
fair. This is the juvenile class, 17 and under on walking horses. Let you know who's in this class again quickly. Eric Swafford on Ebony's Dust H from Pikeville. Greg Cravens from Sparta on Little Doctor. Chad Poland from Glasgow, Kentucky on Replicas Duplicatory. Missy Phillips from Monterey on Shaker's Glory. And Mickey Wright from Cookville on Sundust Royal Flush. Good class and a lot of good showing here by these young folks.
Okay, and the judge has asked for him to pull in and come in so he can take a better look at them.
Needles and Nails has been one of the booths that has been located here at the fair this week for your pleasure, and they've had their drawings. And
I'm sure these kids are glad that that class is over with so they can
rest a little bit, huh?
That's right. He gave them a good workout for there to only be, what, 4 entries in that class?
That's from Needles and Nails.
There's 5, and you really did give them a good workout. Let them go quite a while. And they've lined up on the south side of the grandstand.
I guess one of the most exciting
so we get to
places
see their
around
south side.
is the hospital when it's birth time for the grandchild or for the child. Well, I heard a story I wanted to relate to you while we're in this class.
I'm sorry I said that.
Prospective fathers, they were pacing the waiting room outside the maternity room in the hospital.
And you see the judge and our ringmaster.
That, he had a new son. The man said, well, that's the way it should have been because my wife is number 1. A few minutes.
I guess he already pretty much knows at that point, but he's jotting down the numbers.
Make sure he's got the right number for what position, I guess.
And he's turned the information over to the ringmaster, and the ringmaster's taking it up there to Drew Upon.
You know, sometimes, Becky, they'll have a decision made, and because that confirmation does count for 25%, he'll change his mind, and he might swap first and second around after taking a closer look at them.
So it's important when you're parked that you do a good job.
That's right.
He said, I ain't staying no longer. I'll work for 7-Up.
And Drew Huffines telling another joke. Unfortunately, we missed most of it. Maybe we'll get one of his tonight.
Of course, all of you heard about the excitement out here on Monday at the fair. The kid that swallowed the dime, the quarter, and nickel. Yesterday morning, the doctor asked the mama how everything is coming along. She said, well, there ain't no change yet.
There it was. We heard one. Okay. We're going to go now to Drew Huffines for the winners of Class 8.
The juvenile 17 and under flat shot style wrecking horses. You be ready. You're coming to the ring next. Class number 8. Riding to the opposite side of the ring, your first place winner is entry number 111, Eric Swafford on Ebony's Dust H. Eric from Pikeville, this entry on by John W. Swafford. Ebony's Dust H 111 is first in the class. Presented on the same side you are parked, and your second place award goes to entry number 101, Little Doctor. That's Greg Cravens. Greg is from Sparta. Third place goes to 251, Sundust Royal Flush, and that's Mickey Wright of Cookville. Sundust Royal H Flush. Mickey Wright of Cookville rides to third. Fourth award goes to number 855, Shaker's Glory, and Misty Phillips is riding, entry on by Phillips. Shoes, Monterey. Fourth award to 855, Shaker's Glory, and Misty Phillips riding. Here, let's give all of these riders a big round of applause for class number 8, juvenile 17 and under on walking horses.
We'll continue to do that.
Okay, and I guess they're going to let the folks out in the grandstand know here in just a moment, and we'll be letting you know who the winners are of the presents we're giving away from the fair this year.
Right. I'm looking forward to getting my Sesame Street lunchbox.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're looking at the flat shot style racking class.
And there are quite a few entries in this class, as you can well see. And we have some young riders here, too. Well, Peter didn't guess too well on that money house either.
Well, but he knew there was not
He
any.
knew there was not a $200. I said, look, there's a $100 bill on there. And then he goes, yeah, but look at the $200 bill on there. So, but that's a fun thing to do, Debbie.
It is fun. Really, the fun is making the house.
I bet. You help do that?
Oh, yeah. And then I put all the money on myself, and Neil double checks it. And he always makes me give him a sealed envelope and the fair manager a sealed envelope before we even bring it down here.
That's a great idea.
So he keeps us straight. When you've got the world what is he, the world champion power lifter?
I think nobody messes around.
No.
Okay, so you can look forward to that again next year, folks, if you missed out like I did. Then I'm going to think you're more generous next year, so I'll guess higher than $41.
You know, the guesses, people finally started figuring out that I was the one that put the money on there, so they started guessing lower amounts. Okay.
In this class, we have
James Pierce from Monterey on Becky Stricker. We have Quinlan Guppy from Monterey on Sports Clown Image. Gary Bowman from Monterey on Randy's Ebony Fancy.
And Wayne Bronner from Hartsville on Pride of Dean.
Max Swafford from Pikeville on Chad's Rebel.
Kevy Rich on Flashy
Girl.
Flashy Girl, there you go. From Tompkinsville, I believe.
Also from Tompkinsville, we have Joe Phillips with Paige's Bay Lady.
We have Dwight Crowder from Lafayette on Big Time Delight.
Greg Garrison from here in Cookville on Contenders Bay Power.
Sally Givens from Crossville on Ebony's Black Tide.
We've seen that one before.
Yes, and I didn't give Neil, I said was from Cookville in that last class, and he was actually from Crossville. Also, Barbara Morley.
And she showed Thursday night on Mercy. And did quite well, I remember.
And she's showing Mercy tonight. She's from Cookville. We also have Cliff Taylor on Luke from Cookville, I believe.
So we have a full class tonight.
It is a big class.
You know, these horses that we're seeing, we also saw in the juvenile on ranking horse class earlier. And that's the good thing about these horses. Once they get them cleaned up and choose show, they can bring them in 2-3 classes. Makes it worth your while to come all the way from Maryville or Knoxville or even Tompkinsville.
We've got a lot of Kentucky folks here tonight, so.
Let them walk, please.
And he's asked them to slow down, back down to a walk.
Sally Gibbons riding from Crossville, and 164 is Mercy. Barbara Morley of Cookville is the rider. 12 entries, and this is the flat shot racking class. This one is being...
Now that's well, we can't see her, but we have a real young rider in this class.
She's in the walk, and we're going across to the north side of the ring this time, and lining up. Watch the ringmaster. It's the north side of the ring and lining up.
Sally Gibbons from Crossville.
And the judges asked them to come in and line up, and they're going to line up on our side this time.
There's the young one, Sally from Crossville, doing a nice job. That's a good-sized horse.
That is a good-sized horse for a little girl.
That's Ebony's Black Tide.
Her feet don't even go past the saddle. And it takes a lot of control for somebody that young to be able to ride, because when they go in the ring, they want to turn around and look at the crowd. They want to look and see if mommy or daddy's watching them. And it takes a lot of concentration to keep a horse that size under control. And she's really done quite well, as most of these kids have.
Judge will be making his decision here. As you see our riders, they're facing us because they're on our side of the line.
That's a pretty shot.
That is a pretty shot.
Look at these ribbons with the gold and black that, and
A lot of work goes into that, doesn't it?
got a star.
Is that what you call that in the middle there? A little white one? A star in his forehead.
Look how shiny those hooves are. We're going to have a workout tonight.
164.
Means the judge wasn't able to make a decision, and so he's asked 3 horses to come in and park. That could be our first, second, and third winners we're looking at.
Gotta give us a little bit of space between the entries so we can get a good look at you now, because you're being judged.
And the judges ask them to space themselves out well so he can take a better look at them.
And our young rider did a smart thing and waited until most of them passed her so she could
She sure did.
take some time there and get in line.
We'll go back to what I originally said. Take the rail like you were going. Is that right?
And they're sort of confused as to which direction to go at the moment.
The ringmaster's job is really hard, and the judge is doing the calls right now instead of letting the ringmaster. You'll notice they've got hand signals that they use from the ringmaster back to the master of ceremonies. When that ringmaster, who's out there in white, Donald Pierce tonight, puts his hand out to his side and he lifts his hand flat, then he's asking for a flat foot walk. If he takes his hand and cups it and starts doing it in a mountain motion, they're asking for a canter. And when he wants them to go on in the running walk or to move on, he'll just do as you would if you were telling somebody to move on. You could. Some of these riders that go from week to week, from show to show, instead of listening for the signal, they'll watch for the ringmaster to give that signal so they can get prepared to go right into that gate as they call on it.
Going in a slow rack.
And they're going at a slow rack, which is a pretty swift speed.
And this is class number 9, flat shod style racking.
They're not really going for speed in this class as much as they are going for style. So it's important to them for the judge to see how well groomed they are, how they're handling their feet movement as well.
Now these are pleasure horses, right?
Well, they normally have always been pleasure horses, but we're seeing these more and more included in the horse shows now. This is the racking breed is a breed that's just been formed a few in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's becoming more and more popular. There's not as much work that has to go into these horses. They don't have to have the cut tails, and they don't have to have the built-up feet. And there's a lot of things they don't have to have.